We're talking to Professor Ali Masroui. He is known for, among other things, his series for PBS and BBC called The Africans. He's joining us in studio here in New York. You were invited to Prince Charles' 60th birthday party in Oxford, but you're turning him down?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's very tempting. Of course, you don't turn down an invitation to a royal occasion, least of all a British royal occasion, which is even more exclusive than others. And I did consider seriously going there, but it's really, first, it's a long way to go just for a banquet, and secondly...
What is your relation with Prince Charles?
Well, mainly because he's the patron of the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies, and I'm one of the trustees of the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies. So I serve on the board of that centre, and I go to Oxford every year in connection with that centre. And he's been remarkable in trying to reach to the world of Islam. He even gave a lecture at Oxford on Islam and the Western world, which was very Muslim-friendly. And he attempted to have the oath of coronation when he does become king changed to be not just defender of the faith, which originally envisaged defender of the Church of England, but defender of faith in the sense more generally of all religions, etc. But he's had trouble selling that concept to the people in charge of the rules of the coronation.
You will be celebrating your 76th birthday at just about the time he's celebrating his 60th birthday. But not that long ago, you were sitting in a tent in Libya with Omar Kadafi. When was that?
A few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Well, now Omar Kadafi has been elected as head of the 53-member African Union. He's vowed to pursue his vision of a United States of Africa, where African nations join together in a unified state. He's proposed establishing a single currency, army, and passport for the entire continent. Tell us about him and what you think of his proposal.
He's definitely a very important individual for a head of state of such a small country, because Libya looks large on the map, but it's population-wise a small society. And he's been in power longer than I normally would recommend, because he's been in power 40 years this year. So that's too long, even by African standards, etc. But even in my conversations with him, he had already begun to change, that he was looking for a legacy in his capacity as an African, and less for a legacy in his capacity as an Arab. In fact, in our 4 or 5 hours in his tent, one of the debates, I was trying to convince him of that he wasn't being fair to the Arab world. You can imagine me trying to convince an Arab leader, don't be so rough on the Arab world, etc. And in general, he is seeking a legacy as a great African. It may be because he's given up trying to forge a legacy as a great Arab. But in fairness to him, he has regarded himself consistently as part of the African scene, including at one time trying to save the regime of Idi Amin in Uganda by sending some troops there. At the time, Idi Amin's regime was in danger from troops coming in from Tanzania. And then his dream of instant United States of Africa, it's nice. Many of us have had that kind of dream, but I'm realistic enough to believe that the speed he envisages is not doable. Africa needs to have the stage-by-stage approach which the European Union has embarked upon ever since the Treaty of Rome in the 1950s, and they still haven't reached a federation of Europe. So I'm skeptical about his timetable for African unification, but I'm intrigued by the optimism that it can be done, and I like the idea that there are still Africans who believe that we are one and should attempt to be politically united, even if his particular approach is unrealistic.